Hello everyone, my name is Lauren Curry, and for my assessment plan critique, I have decided to analyze the Democracy Coach Action Civics program of Generation Citizen. Let's begin by learning about the program. Generation Citizen, also known as GC, is a national nonprofit committed to delivering civic education to young people. Founded in 2010, they are rapidly growing, with offices in 5 different states and their central office in New York. Since I am working with a more unique program, I wanted to give a better snapshot of what GC believes is the major issues they are addressing. Generation Citizen sees a gap in civic education and has identified that young people are not engaged in politics, particularly low-income youth. To alleviate this problem, Generation Citizen recruits democracy coaches, whom are also college students, to act as facilitators for a 10-week civic education program in schools. The program culminates in an Action Civics Day where young people are able to share with legislators changes they want to see in their community and the solutions they have to make those changes. Let's now take a closer look at how Generation Citizen has designed their program and how they measure what they do. GC has one overarching mission, which is written along the left side of this screen. Upon review of the mission statement, I found the key stakeholders were listed, and there was overlap between the main function and primary purpose of preparing students for active citizenship. There was not a distinctly separate mission for the Democracy Coach models, yet I don't believe there had to be. This is due in large part because even though GC has 2 program models, they both serve the same mission. This is why I gave them the overall rating of accomplished in this area. Moving into the program goals, 3 main goals could be outlined: civic knowledge, civic skills, and civic disposition. I underline the measurable and specific areas in their program goals found directly in their curriculum handbook. I found that the goals focus in on what the students would learn in the course, as well as how they would develop individually in their civic agency and identity. The multidimensional approach connected well with the transformative learning model from our course content. Overall, I would rate GC's goal section as accomplished. I had to do a lot of digging to find the listed student learning outcomes by locating them in the student handbook. The student learning objectives are listed out under each program goal and are written in a way that are more digestible to a young person. They originate from the statements, "I know or understand," which connects to civic knowledge; "I believe that," which connects to civic motivation; and "I am good at," which connects to civic skills. They are specific and have the potential for measure. Each lesson in the curriculum also had a set of objectives listed. I found it difficult to align the lesson objectives to the program student learning outcomes. The objectives focused on what the students would do and not disposition or behavior changes. It was unclear to me if students would be able to articulate learnings, and I was confused due to the plethora of different frameworks and outcomes the organization uses in their work. Although the SLOs were hard to find and had areas of confusion, they were listed, specific and measurable, which is why I listed GC as accomplished in this area. Since there was only one curriculum, I was unable to map it to other courses or look for scaffolding or connections to a larger program model, which is why I rated this area as not applicable. I did discover that curriculum is mapped to the Common Core standards. I thought this was a great way to further demonstrate the importance of curriculum in the classroom. Generation Citizen uses a wide variety of assessment tools for their program. They engage youth in a pre- and post-survey during the 10-week course, measuring outcomes of the 3 goals of civic skills, attitudes, and knowledge. Surveys are only completed by a random sample of youth in the program. The staff also holds classroom observations in every classroom. They utilize a rubric to measure how different aspects, such as youth-led decision-making processes, are being observed. They also evaluate the democracy coach and teachers, utilizing an online form. This allows the democracy coaches and teachers to share how the program ran, could be improved, and how they perceived the students did throughout the program. The variety of types of methods and alignment of some of the methods to targets was a strong aspect of GC's assessment plan. Assessment took place across the program and seemed to be intentionally designed. Based on the rubric, I scored them as exemplary, although I do think they could better streamline their assessment measures and connect them more strongly to learning outcomes. I identified no set benchmarks or standards of what they would like students to accomplish. As a nonprofit, they tend to showcase stronger numbers and data in support of funding. The only other comparison that takes place is results among the program in different states, which my colleague remarked can feel competitive at times. This is definitely an area for growth in the organization, and I rated them in their beginning stages. Regarding the timeline of who, when, and how the assessment plan was managed, it was easy to determine how, when, and by whom the data was collected, as well as whom was responsible for analyzing that data. However, the process of how and when the data is actually analyzed was very unclear. Data analysis is also the job of only one individual in the entire organization. This felt like an area where GC could put more emphasis, which is why I marked them as developing. The data analysis and results were more brief, which is why they are together on one page. For data analysis, the individual that analyzes the data and reports back the key findings was the Evaluation and Measurement Fellow, based in the New York office. The process of analysis, however, was unclear, which is why I rated this portion as developing/accomplished. In terms of results and utilizing the data for action, all information aggregated and reported out by the fellow returns to the Massachusetts office for review. The staff then meets as a whole to review the data and to begin making program revisions, such as edits to the curriculum, democracy coach trainings, the systems, etc. This revision is generally led only in the summer, but should be held at least twice a year, since GC holds both a fall and spring program in schools. All evaluation results are also reported on their website and are easy to find. In this area, I would rate GC as accomplished and not exemplary, since it is unclear if all stakeholders, including teachers and students, are communicated the results directly. After critiquing the assessment plan of Generation Citizen, I was able to identify a few recommendations to their current model. Sifting through all the information posted on the website and resources provided by my colleague was overwhelming. I had to search to find the learning outcomes and had a hard time determining what they were. I would thus recommend a more streamlined and condensed relationship between the mission, goals, outcomes, and assessment measures. I would also recommend stronger alignment between the assessments, outcomes, and instructional activities. I'd recommend the development of benchmarks and standards for the program and to report openly and honestly even when the program doesn't meet those benchmarks. Another recommendation I have is to use a nationally verified and tested tool, Survey Tool. The tools they have created in-house are good, but I learned that they have not been updated as intentionally as the curriculum has. Lastly, I think more staff support in the analysis of data and revisions is critical and often overlooked by many programs. Overall, GC's assessment plan was well done, and I am glad I took a closer look at the great work they do as a program. Thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again.